December 3rd at 8:30 a.m. I told you I got my membrane stripped yesterday, and I was having contractions since last night. I went down 2 stairs. My contractions are down to 7 minutes apart. I think she's gonna come today, but we're about to see. I'm about to go downstairs and drink some red raspberry tea, bounce on the ball. I already brushed my teeth, but I'm gonna take a shower before I go to the hospital, obviously, because that's just what you do. But this is first clip because I think she's gonna come today. I'm about to try to eat something first. But baby girl, I'm ready for you.
She's like, why are you torturing me, lady? And then are you okay in that chair? Or did you want to sit in one of the more comfortable chairs? And I'm going to go get you a one. Okay. Do you want a pillow? And then I'm going to come back so we can get you cleaned up, okay? Let me just go
Thank you.
warm blankets real quick.
Hey, Daddy. Uh-oh. Let her know it fell on the ground.
Baby.
You hear your daddy voice?
How was he being locked up in?
She is a lot darker than the baby Bash was. I had a feeling she was gonna be darker too. Just because Bash was so yellow. Oh. You hear your daddy.
What? I'm gonna put a hat on her head. See her still. Okay, she doesn't need a hat. You're comfortable like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great. Okay.
We made it to the recovery room. They took out my epidural before we went over here. They were checking my abdomen to make sure that I'm not bleeding too much. And I can't really film my body, the baby, because she's on me. And I don't have on a bra. But we're going to be showing pictures of her and video clips of her once everything is settled. We literally just got in the recovery room and I'm very tired. So let me explain how things went. I told you guys on my last live update. First of all, my hands are so swollen I had to take off my wedding ring. Hold on. I'm cramping. I didn't feel pain since I came in here, but now I'm starting to have cramps. So let me explain. Look, clearly it went so fast I couldn't do my eyelashes. I wanted to have a little bit of makeup on. My hair was brushed once upon a time, but this is what happens when you have a baby. I don't even have my chapstick. It's like way across the room, and y'all can see that my husband is asleep. So let me explain. So after my live update, I sat on the couch for a little bit and I was resting, but then I started to have mild contractions, and I was timing them on this app that I downloaded called Contractions Counter. And the app basically averages, like it keeps track of everything, and it shows you like how frequent your contractions are coming based on what you're logging and how long each contraction is. So I was having a contraction that lasted about 45 to 50 seconds, and they went from 23 minutes apart down to 17 minutes apart, and they just kind of tapered off there. But in the middle of the night, they started going back to 20 minutes apart and then back down to like 15. But when I woke up this morning, December 3rd, I was having more frequent contractions, and I've been timing them since I came home from my doctor's appointment. So they got down to 7 minutes apart, but they wasn't unbearable. And I do have a high pain tolerance. Even though I'm a big baby, I have a high pain tolerance, and I was told that when I was in labor with Bash, so I kind of expected the same thing. But they got down to 7 minutes apart. I'm like, okay. So I had got my clothes out that I was going to come to the hospital with, which was just sweatpants and a t-shirt and my Crocs. But I had put them on the bed, and I told my husband, like, if I call you, because I'm going to walk downstairs, and y'all can see in the earlier clip that I was trying to make it down the stairs. So I was walking down the stairs. I'm like, okay, this is getting a little intense. So I said, if I call you, bring my clothes downstairs, because I'm going to take a shower downstairs so I can be ready. Because I know a shower kind of helps with the pain, and you're supposed to, in my opinion, think you're supposed to take a shower before you head to the hospital anyway. That's just kind of like a courtesy. And so you can feel all right too. So I went to the living room, didn't even get a chance to sit down because I was going to drink some red raspberry tea and get on a birthing ball to kind of help with the pain. Y'all, that didn't even happen. I went to the bathroom thinking I had to pee, and I was having a contraction on the toilet, and I'm like, okay, this contraction is really intense. And they got down to about 5 minutes. It went from 7 to 5. I'm like, oh, it's about to get real. So I called my husband, and he wasn't answering, but he knew why I was calling. So he just went ahead and grabbed my clothes from the bed to bring them downstairs to the bathroom. And I got in the shower, lost my mucus plug. Remember I told you I didn't really lose it, but it came out when I was in that nice warm shower. She's been spitting up amniotic fluid, so I have her on my chest to try to burp her. So I lost my mucus plug in the shower, and I'm like, oh, it's about to get real. So I'm breathing through the contractions while I'm in the shower. I clean myself or whatever, and then I keep the doors unlocked when I'm in the bathroom, just in case I get like immobile and my mom or somebody gotta come in. So my grandma heard me in the bathroom, and she was like, you need help? I'm like, yeah. My mom came, and she was like getting me dressed because I could not put my clothes on. My grandma ran upstairs and got my Depends because I was like starting to like spot more because I lost my mucus plug. So I put on a diaper, and we got in the car. I told y'all everything was in the car since yesterday. So, but my husband brought his bag back in because he needed something. So We got in the car. Bash was still asleep. I didn't get a chance to say bye to my baby. But things were happening so fast to the point where I couldn't really walk. So we live 10 minutes from the hospital, but those 10 minutes seemed like 30 minutes to get to the hospital. And it was no traffic. We got there in about 8 minutes. But I can say I probably had about 5 contractions in that 8-minute time span. I'm like, oh my God. So they went, and I couldn't even time them because it was just so fast. I'm like, it's not even a point. I know I'm in active labor. So I was having a contraction every 1 to 2 minutes or whatever. We get to the hospital. It's so big. We go to the emergency room part. They were like, it's not here, it's on the other side. We pull up all the way around the block to one side. It don't say labor and delivery. It don't say anything. So he got out like, is this it? They was like, no, it's some buildings up. So that's so frustrating because during you usually can do a hospital tour to know where to go and what to expect, but they didn't really offer that because of what's going on. So I couldn't do a hospital tour ahead of time to know where we were gonna go. So we found the labor and delivery section. I could not walk. He had to run in there and ask them to come get me. I did call them ahead of time and let them know I was coming, and that was when I was in the bathroom able to breathe a little bit. So I already warned them that I was going to be coming in, but they had to wheelchair me up. They're trying to get me checked in. They're moving as fast as they can. I see them moving as fast as they can, but my pain was so intense to the point where I was like, if you're not talking epidural, don't talk to me. Basically, like, help me. I'm like trying to breathe. I'm trying, but I couldn't catch my breath during a couple of the contractions because it was just so intense. She checked me. I was 6 centimeters dilated. I'm like, oh my God. So the contractions kept coming. I went from 3 yesterday to 6 in less than 12 hours. So, and I'm not sure how far overnight I was dilating or whatever, but I knew I was dilating as I was coming over because the contractions were just too consistent. So they, I'm like, give me an epidural. Okay, so I had Nikhil help me out a little bit because I was looking a little rough. But right now it's 4:17. I had her at 10:56. A nurse supervisor just came in and asked about my experience. So let me tell y'all what happened. I'm trying to remember where I left off at. So basically, I was asking for an epidural. They was like, you 6 centimeters, and that was upon my arrival. And I was having back to back contractions. It was hard to breathe, like literally hard to catch my breath. And the first nurse was this older lady, not of the same culture or ethnicity as me, but that doesn't matter. She just was an older lady, and I could tell she had no patience. So she, I noticed her because she was one of the ones that kind of assisted the nurse that came down to grab me in the wheelchair from the car. So she like snatched my mask to my mouth, like cover up. And I had on a cotton mask from Target, so I couldn't really breathe through that mask. I'm like, I'm trying to breathe through my contractions, but I cannot breathe in this mask. So the way she like put the mask on my face was like, put this on, basically. I was like, okay, I'm gonna note that. Like, maybe she just, I don't know. So we get to the triage room. They tried to put an IV in my wrist, and she was like, it wouldn't go in because when your body is in so much pain, you start to sweat. And my whole body was wet. Like, I was dripping sweat and I was shaking from the pain. And she was getting frustrated because she couldn't put the IV in my wrist and the tape wasn't sticking. But I'm still trying to deal with my contractions, but I'm mindful of what she's doing. She was getting frustrated. And then I was like, I need an epidural. And she was like, you're not getting no epidural. I was like, why? I'm only 6 centimeters dilated. I'm still within the time frame I can get one. She was like, you're going to feel this labor. You're not getting an epidural. And I was like, You for real gonna tell me I'm not gonna get an epidural? She was like, you labored at home already. You're already 6 centimeters dilated. You're gonna feel this labor. You're not gonna get one. I can't even get an IV in you. So why you think you're gonna get an epidural? And the IV can't even stay in your hand. And I'm like, I want an epidural because I'm 6 centimeters dilated. The more you're waiting to tell me all of this, the further out it's gonna be, and I ain't gonna be able to get one. So use something to dry my hand off with, basically, so I can get an IV in me, so I can get this epidural. So this other nurse kind of like took over, and she was a younger nurse, and she was more patient, and she was just like, she said the same thing as far as like it's a sequence of things that need to happen before I can get the epidural for my safety and the baby. And she said it a few times, but she never lost her cool, and she was so patient and understanding. She understood that I was in active labor and I was in very much pain, that a lot of the things I was hearing her, but I wasn't hearing her. So but the other lady that was getting frustrated about my IV just lost all her marbles with me without really giving me a chance. Like, and as a nurse, this is your job to kind of help the patients get through it. Even if that was the actual reality that I wasn't going to be able to get the epidural, you can at least like, oh, we're going to try our best, but this needs to happen, and be calm about it. She was just like snapping at me since the second like she put hands on me. So the other nurse kind of reiterated the same thing as far as this gotta happen, but she was calm, she was nurturing, she was understanding. So I kind of like got through my labor with her, and the other lady like kind of left out. So all this to say is I was dilating pretty quickly, and I got to 9 centimeters with nothing, no pain meds. They had to tape my hand up with so much different tape because I was so wet, my body was so wet that tape wouldn't stick on me. And they finally got the tape to stick with some alcohol, rubbing alcohol to dry out the skin and whatever. So they got the IV in me. At 9 centimeters, I was able to get the epidural. And the epidural take, they said, between 15, 20 to 30 minutes to kick in for you to kind of like fully feel at ease. You will feel pressure, but like you would have felt more at ease. I'm telling y'all, 10 minutes or less. Probably 5 minutes after I got the epidural, and I had to sit as still as possible, but I was willing to do whatever it took to get this epidural because I was in so much pain. So I'm breathing through contractions as best as I could, or not breathing at all, just so I could stay still. I had to push her out as soon as I got the epidural, because I got the epidural at 9 centimeters, so it wasn't fully in my body. And as I'm pushing, I can still feel, and I'm in a lot of pain. I'm like, I want her out. I pushed for less than 5 minutes and she was out. My husband could not film. They have a no film policy here anyway, but even if he tried, we didn't have time to film the baby coming out because it just happened so fast. And they say after your first baby, the second one and subsequent pregnancies, the babies come out faster. They are not lying. They are not. This basically, this baby, I had her that naturally. Basically, I was at 9 centimeters, got an epidural, wasn't fully in, and had her. So I know for the next time, the second I feel a contraction, I'm coming to the hospital. I have a high threshold with contractions, and I've learned that even better this time. If I made it to 6 on my own, I could have had her more natural, I guess. But I choose not to because it hurts. So all of that happened. It was very eventful. A supervisor just came in and asked basically like what happened, and I told on her. Like I said, I just really didn't have a good experience with this provider anyway, and her treatment towards me in my actual laboring process was so distasteful that was the icing on the cake, and I don't appreciate that. So she finna get in trouble. I don't know what kind of trouble, maybe a talk but I just felt like that had to be acknowledged, because you don't treat people like that, especially when you're supposed to be the very person to help comfort. And to make it worse, like when you're in labor at this time, they have to make sure you're going to be admitted before they let your significant other or your support person come up to support you. So my husband was downstairs when I was getting treated so poorly, and then the nurse that took over was like, girl, let me just call you your husband, let's get him up here. You know, this baby is coming a lot faster than what you probably are prepared for, so let's get your husband up here so he can be there for you. And she got my husband up here while the other lady just giving me a hard time. So it was a very traumatic delivery for me, but not as far as the baby's health. She was perfect. She came out. I did have 2nd-degree tears, so I got stitched up. My stomach is starting to hurt. I got tested for y'all know what. I told you I was dreading that, but you know, I'm good. Came back. So I'm good with that. I don't have to wear a mask in my recovery room, only when nurses are here. But I did have to have on a mask pretty much during my labor. But they had on oxygen for me because I was, you know, needing oxygen, so that kind of was my mask or whatever. So yeah, she's here. That's what happened. These are just going to be put together as far as my labor and delivery vlog. What I had in mind is not going to happen as far as seeing her be pushed out or whatever, because he couldn't even film anyway, and it happened so quick. So that's not really, I mean, that's out of our control. But thank you so much for all of my supporters and my subscribers during this whole time. Y'all follow me along this journey. Y'all rode the wave with me, and it was just so reassuring that people are very interested in our life and all of that, and you're being so kind. So thank you for helping me through this journey, and stay tuned obviously for, you know, the going home video and or section of this video. He finally woke up from his nap. We're about to eat dinner soon. I thought it was 1 o'clock, but it's later than what I thought, but obviously I'm out of it. So I'm about to try to put her on the ninny and start to get this breast milk going. So stay tuned for the next clip. Okay, since I haven't vlogged, you can barely see me, but I wanted to record something. It's 5:45 a.m. She is fussy. So she's been spitting up a lot, like a lot. And they just had to take her to the NICU and like stick something down her nose and pump out the fluid. She swallowed a lot of amniotic fluid, and she had a lot of air in her stomach. So she feels better, but she had a lot of air and fluid in her body, and she was like uncomfortable, spitting up to the point where I haven't slept. And I was so worried about her. So they are only keeping us for 1 day. I came in at 10:56. I had her at 10:56 actually a.m. I came here around 9. And we're already gonna go home tomorrow. Well, today technically. So they're only keeping us for like a day. And that's weird because they kept bashing us for 3 days last time I was at labor and delivery, so that's just weird. But oh well, I'm ready to go home anyway. I got help at home. I'm in a lot of pain. My butt hurts and my stomach hurts. So she looks so much like Bash to me. but she has a lot more rosy undertones. She's very peachy, but she looks like Bash. I can't wait to show y'all. It's dark. Daddy trying to sleep. I told y'all I haven't slept, so I'm gonna record still more when we're able to turn on the light. They just drew my blood and weighed her. She only had 3% weight loss, which is really good. She's been latching and eating. So I'm gonna get off this dark phone and I'll record some more when I'm able to turn on the light. So we just got discharged and we're waiting on some test results that they just did on the baby. And then I think they're gonna have to wheelchair me down there. That's how they do it. So I'm waiting on that, but we were just talking to the doctor. She discharged us. We're waiting on an appointment for the baby for tomorrow too, because they have to have an appointment a day or two after they're born. That's just standard. So I'm waiting on them to give us that appointment for tomorrow, because they didn't unclip her umbilical cord clamp because it was still moist. So they're hoping to give us an appointment for tomorrow so the doctor can do that. I'm feeling okay. I just took a shower and I'm happy I'm clean, but that water was cold, so I'm not really relaxed. And I forgot to put on some dermaplast, so I'm really feeling the pain down there from my stitches. Didn't lose a lot of blood this time around, which is really good. And we're good. Since they're shutting down everything more strict as of Wednesday, we just gotta buckle down and be more strict. I'm already mean and don't want people to come over anyway, but like, they about to not see this baby at all. So we're about to get ready to head down. We got all these bags, and I'll film her in the car seat. I can't sit in the back because Bash's big old car seat is back there, and then hers is on the other door, and I'm not about to climb on top of a car seat to get in the middle. So we have that camera installed already that's facing her, so I can see her while I'm in the front anyway. And we're only 10 minutes from the house, so that's fine. She'll be fine. She's a crybaby. She got poked a few times. She do have jaundice, so they poked her a few times for some other tests and the jaundice, and she's not happy, but she's asleep. I'm about to feed her before we leave. Hopefully we're leaving within the next 20-30 minutes, and then we're gonna take her to go meet her big brother. He's gonna be mad, watch, but it's inevitable. Y'all stay tuned. Meet baby sister. Come here, come meet your baby sister. Look, mommy belly not. The baby came out mommy belly. See, baby. You see baby sister?
Didn't gone away. Didn't get away.
What?
Didn't get away.
The what?
Here, can you record me picking, showing him?
I got it. Okay. Turn it this way.
You got your finger in front of the camera.
Them away. Them away.
Change her diaper. Bash, the baby sister. Come here, baby. Bash, come here. Come here, baby. Come meet baby sister.
Sebastian.
Bash, look. Come here, look. Baby Zara. Come here, baby. Bash. Come be baby sister. She's waking up.
Did you say Zara? That's baby Zara.
This your baby sister. See? Mommy no belly no more. She came out of mommy belly.
Sebastian.
Your hair. It's your hair.